all the existing programming languages. So what it actually takes it into that level? What are the factors that are actually making it a bit elevated? We were going to discuss about that, and this is about a small image indicating the percentage of all the universities that are actually introducing, the courses. If you see the current day scenario, Python is the most preferred languages to be taught. So when we deal about when we want to discuss about the importance of a certain language, in the current day scenario, only two things exist that currently rule the market. One is data. Data is, it's exponentially increasing at a very high level. It means, for example, let us say there are some 100 million population. Each head in that so-called country is having one Facebook ID. Let us say it will be multiple for sure. But if you consider one Facebook account for one head, it's like 100 million Facebook accounts for 100 million people, and every day they'll be going to post one or the other post, maybe an image or a video, or they'll be sharing the stuff, right? So this data will be, if you consider some 10 MB for 100 million, it will be like 100 million into 10 MB. So the data is exponentially increasing in terms of storage and in terms of the stuff they are sharing, right? So how to manage data is a big challenge for us. So the scope of getting into a very permanent and a very prominent job will be when you're going to seek your career in data. How to handle the data. Speaking more efficient, more specific about it, about data sciences and stuff. Nowadays, what it has been is we used to have a databases with a lot of restrictions, a lot of performance issues, and then they are shifted into some SQL related DBs, and they are again improvised to NoSQL DBs, and then these NoSQL DBs are again emerged as free sources, open sources, you can say. But still, the challenge of maintaining, searching, updating, and performing the DML operations on that data is still existing in our current day market. And the best solution that we get for manipulating that data is Python. That's where we deal with pandas and NumPy functions. So it's like, if you are having a correct module of Python, you can just modify any number of records, no matter what the amount of count that database is having about the records. So no matter what the GB is having, it's like an invincible thing if you're having Python. So having said that, let us say the data is some duplicating 10 times more than what we are getting in upgoing 1 year or two. The security of the data really matters a lot. So data security, when you observe the current trends, the best thing that can provide the ethical security is Linux and using Python. Again, previously there used to be some other things, but now the Python is what we are preferring to take over the data security also. There are certain modules we'll be discussing soon. So in these two arenas, we're having more feasibility of switching a career. So these are all the IT sectors that we wish to work for as a part of development or automation or whatever we can find. Usually 80%, more than 80% of information technology existing in the current day market is comprising of this. One is business intelligence. It's like data handling, data lineage, like digging out the data. all this stuff. It's like maintaining all the entire enterprise data warehousing and data marts, which is having a very huge amount of data inside them. So in order to handle all those, there are existing tools, very costly tools they're maintaining. But now the current project that we are into, I mean, in my own company, it's like we are automating all these tools using Python. What happens is when we use those tools, for example, we are using Informatica to handle the data. When we use Informatica, if you're going to update about 100 million records inside a 1,000 million record table, it's like it'll die. It'll take forever to update those records, not to qualify those particular records in a specific condition. But when we use Python, it'll be like we'll be taking all those records from that table and insert into a NumPy array. When you talk about NumPy array, it's all dynamic allocation. It's not a static one. And then the selection takes in a specific, it follows a specific pattern where we'll get the optimized selection of the data within no time with the minimized resources of and usage. So I'll show you while dealing with the NumPy arrays, but the conclusion is, I mean, the point is, while automating the business intelligence tools, we'll be attaining the efficiency for free, of course, because Python is free. When you're interested in data analytics, for example, let us say you're working for Google as a data analyst. Google has got, let us, for example, say in an office, some 1,000 employees, let us say. Google wants to optimize its expenditure spent on these employees, and it doesn't really know. I mean, it has taken a decision to take out 10% of its employee pool out. I mean, just to kick them out of Google. So, how does Google do that? Previously, what would happen is it will just put a conference, or it will just communicate with the managers and the leads available in the Google from certain divisions, and then depending on their feedback, they'll gather the reports, and then they'll have a brief discussion, and then they'll have a decision made where 10% of all the existing employees, the list of all 10%, they'll be preparing all manually. But the problem here is, whatever the manager says, it runs. It doesn't really matter how good you are. If you're not good in the eyes of your manager, you're out. It's not a valid one. So, using data analytics, there are some certain criteria. For example, the employees' work hours, the employees' performance levels, the feedback they've received, depending on the track they are working, and the performance, the increment. I mean, what are the numbers that have improvised for this particular employee when it is compared to the other quarter, the previous quarter, or the previous month? Based on these criteria, there are certain other factors we can directly, by default, make a script about. The script gives you the output of the duration of the employee that he's working on, the tasks that he's performing on, the efficiency levels, the numbers that he has improved, the numbers he has to improve, and stuff like that. Based on that, we can directly sort out the 10% of the employees in the entire Google, and that too without any reference of the manager or some other team lead or so forth. So it'll be more of an automated thing, and it will be an optimized solution to remove those 10%. Or for that matter, if Google wants to increment the hike levels to 50% for that 10% employees, that will be good enough. So that will be the importance of data analytics, and we do have a wonderful libraries when you explore Python. I will be coming across that as well. And then, if you want to choose a career in web development, let me tell you, Python is the best platform, because there is something called WordPress. Will get everything automated without any coding at all. Your website will be ready, voila. It's like you don't have to do anything at all. But still, there are many restrictions for that. In order to perform your SEO, in order to make your website a popular one in the entire web, there are many things that, and also it's like a platform given by someone else. We cannot customize it entirely in our own way. So when you use Python modules, Django currently ruling the market. It's like when you talk about this Dropbox, even Google is using Django. Facebook is also using Django. A lot of other giants, IT giants, are using Django now. They are migrated already. So Django, Flask, and Web2py are the traditional libraries that are used for web development. We'll be discussing them as well. And in network and security, there's no doubt about it. Python is the one leading the market again. Even in the game development, there are libraries where you can create 2D games very easily and very fast. There are inbuilt libraries for that. It's like you decide the coordinates, you decide the functionality of your characters, you define them, and then the logic that you carry in your brain, it does matter, that's it. And your game will be ready. And for all these things, once you are done with your logic implementation, testing should be done, right? Till now, how testing happens is, there'll be a test case scenario that works in your brain, and you'll be implementing it using a script or some other thing that you are having. It's like if you're coding in Java, or if you're developing something in Informatica, what you'll be doing is you'll be taking some testing tool, some other testing tool, and you'll test it according to the scenario. But now, with Python, during the phase of your development, you'll be writing your test cases, and the test cases will be run automatically. It happens with web development currently, and it is in a process to come to the other fields as well. So during the phase of your development itself, the test case will be run automatically according to the logic, and there's no need of any other tool to be used for testing. And Selenium is one of the automated testing tools leading the market, but Selenium makes use of Java till now. But few years before, Python has been introduced into Selenium as well. So there is no corner in this information technology where we cannot integrate Python. So Python can be used everywhere. So having said that, what is this Python? I mean, what is the origin of this Python? This guy, Guido van Rossum, he's the godfather of Python. He's the one who introduced Python. And a brief introduction about him is worth a while. We need to know. So what he's up to is he wanted to cut the barriers of the programming language. So what he did is, he's a professional programmer in C language, and he took a decision to make a language where, as a developer, he's facing some restrictions by seeing that C language. He wanted to wipe that out completely. So he made some self-rules for himself, and then designed a language called Python. What he did is, for example, a basic print statement in C language has some syntax. He thought that, no, for a print statement, I should not have any problem in dealing with it at all. That means if I want to print something, yeah, I need to say print, that's it. It should be giving us the value whatever we want to print. Like this, he has made every other self rule for every other function that is available in C language, and he has prepared his own functional code. Print is basically a function which has a background of C language. So uh, with that thought in his mind, he has defined all the basic functions and has given that syntax of his own and developed Python language. So at the time where Guru Van Rossum and his team are the only contributors to the Python, the basic background version of Python is entirely C. We call it as C Python or Python. But now in the current day market, the entire background of Python is available in Java and also in C hash. So that is called as Jython when you say that the background is Java, but when it is C hash, it will be like Iron Python basically. So it means that whatever you wanted to make out of using Java, C, or .NET, that is absolutely possible to make out using Python. And this guy, he wants to be a developer for his entire life. Even now, he's working in Dropbox, I think. Yeah, currently, maybe 6 months back, he's working on Dropbox, and still he wants the role of developer. He doesn't want the role of a lead at all because he needs time. That's what he says. He continuously improvises the versions of Python. So what makes this Python the Python? I mean, features which highlight its performance and all. So basically, it's a scripting language. Means the compilation step will be missed out. It means it makes use of an interpreter, a line-by-line understanding and execution of the code. And this is a high-level language. It means I can say that it is more of a human-readable language when you see the code, but the machine to understand it, the background really matters. Again, as I've told you, there are certain libraries specialized in optimizing the query, specialized in making the lowest level language. So what Python does is, whatever it sees is more of a human readable thing, but the background is different. And in the current day scenario, Python and MATLAB are the highest level languages, more human readable stuff. But they're not. Python is not actually a human readable stuff when it comes to the working in background. And efficiency. Efficiency, I've already discussed a stated example. Informatica, to load some 100 million records, it will take about at least 5 or 6 hours just to update those records. But Python, it will not take more than 10 minutes for sure, no matter how much amount of data it is. That's a huge gap, right? So we actually tried in our project. That's a real-time experience. And then portability. When you talk about portability, Python is a compatible version. Every library of Python can be installed in any OS, any kind of a tool. The connectors are available for almost every tool that is present in the market. And the best thing about Python is we can be the contributors. We can be the contributors, anyone who wants to contribute to the libraries of Python, just the way Rossum has done the background work of creating the inbuilt functions using C language because he's expert in C. In the same way, if you're having a thought to improvise this library, even I am improvising a library called BS4 module for web scraping. So what you can do is just code it in your own way, make out things, and then once you are done with the development of once you have developed a module or a specific task, you can upload the script to GitHub. The traditional way to do is you'll upload your code script and instructions to execute the script and uses of that script to a GitHub, and once people start using it, once you think that the code is reliable, then you'll be mailing that stuff to the Python's official mailer, which is available in python.org, and then they'll validate the code. Once it is really reliable and helpful, the version will be given, and you'll be given the patent. So everyone, like it's not the Java is some restricted one where we have to take out whatever it is there. It's not like that. Python is free for the use of everyone, free for the development for everyone. And when you come to code length, it is tremendously improved. It's like when you have to code about 100 lines of code in Java, it's not even 50 in Python. More than 50% of code efficiency we achieve. So it's time to speak about the course contents. People will ask for a project because they have to do a project without which there's no the stuff that was fed into their brains will not stand still for long until and unless they have a hands-on. So as I think that you'll be interested in automating projects, yes, we do have automated the projects related to automation that achieves more efficiency. We can discuss about that. Or if you have any thought about dealing with something else or a specific requirement in your hands, yeah, we can go ahead and deal with that too. And then the content, I'm having a GitHub repository specifically for this Python content, and we're updating it forever, and the access for you will be given forever. It's like my own real-time stuff that is actually going in my project, and the real-time training that I'll be introducing, I'll frequently update it into my GitHub repo, so you'll be having the access for it. You can download, you can clone it, you can have the frequent updates of it. And we'll be also dealing with GitHub repository, how it works on what I'm telling you GitHub every time, right? So what it actually is. It's a wonderful tool helping out. The only reason, one of the major reasons what made Python look more beautiful is GitHub, because previously what it used to be is like, let us say there's a programmer A, programmer B, programmer C, programmer D. They're working on a specific library of Python. They are trying to improve that specific library. A has changed a code in some certain function, let us say, in the entire script. It is having some 1,000 functions, let us say. So B has changed some other function. How will he change? He has to take the updated code from A and then change his code. I mean, the updated code has to be changed in his own logic. And then C will change the updated code taken from B using implementing his own logic. But A finds a bug in his logic, so he wants to modify the code. What he has to do, he has to communicate with B. He says that, yeah, I do have a bug in my code. I need to change and revise it. So please revert back your changes to make sure that my logic works as per my expectations. Revert back my logic. I'll give you, revert back your logic. I'll give you my updated revised code fixing my bug. B says, okay, I'll be waiting. That should not be an issue. He will revise, A will revise, and he will pass it on to B. And then B will communicate the same to C. There is a change that has been happened from the other guy, and I'll be sending you the updated code implementing my logic. And again, it went, the code goes to C, and then to D. And again, B comes back. I found a bug in my code. I need a revision to be possible. So it's like a childish play. It's like the code will be revolving here and there itself, right? And what if, it's a very simplest case scenario, please. So what if C has come across a bug and he fixed it in his logic, but did not communicate to D? it might happen a very small minor fix. Maybe out of 10 bugs, he has communicated only 9. The integration of code will be missed out, right? So, in order to overcome that, there is something called GitHub. It is a repository present in the cloud. What will happen is, they'll access the repository and clone in that repository inside their local. It means A will be having a specific path in his local, let us say documents folder in his computer. Let us say in documents he will be creating project 1, or let us say project A. He will do his coding, implement his logic, improvise the so-called library he wanted to do, and then push it to GitHub. How does he do that? He will clone the repository. I'll show you how we can do that. When he clones the repository, so this entire GitHub folder, initially it will be empty. That empty folder will be here in documents/project A folder. So whenever he introduces a script, whenever he adds that script inside the folder called project A, it will be pushed into GitHub. When B clones, I mean assume that these 4 individuals have pushed their code, they have cloned their repositories from GitHub. All will be having empty folders. When project A is having a specific script introduced into that GitHub, B, C, and D will have the notification saying that yes, there is a modification that happened to the GitHub repository. But your local repository, local folder is not having that change. It will push a notification. I mean, if we call it as a pull request, it will let these 3 users know about it. So what will they do is, yes, there is a change happened to that master code, that universal code. So we need to indulge those changes. What they can do is they'll pull that code into their locals. Maybe let us say, so project B. In this folder, he's made in his local system. So whatever. So they will be continuously integrating the code. In this way, the code integration happens with 100% of accuracy. So this actually elevated the Python, and it has made it more alive, the development part of it, and it made it more dynamic. So we'll be introducing this course as well, how to clone a Git repository and how to actually integrate the code and stuff like that. And then there are a wide variety of opportunities available for freelancing using Python. I myself am earning a lot by freelancing. It's like you can create your own blog, and the design of that blog will be using Django or Flask, which is absolutely free of cost. You got to pay only for the servers. That server charge will be as minimum as possible, because server is what you cannot escape. If you want to escape that cost as well, you can go on for the cloud. We'll also guide for that as well. For a blog, you can have your Google AdSense raised or affiliate marketing, and you can earn dollars for that. And if you're looking for job opportunities using Python, there are, of course, obviously 10x jobs. I just really don't know what your real interest is, but these are the available options. So Python is a tool which perfectly answers this question: how to survive jobless. I'm going to show you how. So thanks a lot for listening to this demo. Any questions? You can raise it now.
So one of the questions I have is, what's the difference between a Python library and a Python modules?
Okay. Python has a set of libraries which deals with the specific functionalities. It's like there is a library for web scraping called BS4, if you say. It deals only with manipulating HTML files and XML files. So a specific format of is indulged into the particular library. So basically, it's like you're having scripting in your hands. It doesn't mean anything at all. You need to access a library to have a specific task performed. Hope I answered your question, right?
Yeah. So the other thing is so is there any, like when you teach this class, do you teach it to like individually, or do you teach it to a couple of people, like for example, my friend and I,
Okay.
if if we're gonna do the class on Saturday and Sunday, do you guys do it with both of us, teaching the class to both of us? Because we live in the same city. Maybe sometime we can get together and try to go through the homeworks, whatever we need to do, or would you guys teach it individually?
Yeah, that should not be a problem. If you plan a weekend session, that will be awesome, because even we can spend more time. There will not be a time restriction until you are satisfied. Until the course is finished in your way, will be good, right? So yeah, there'll be absolutely no problem with that. So you're more interested in opting for a weekend session, right?
Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know about Ken. Ken, do you have any questions?
No.
Yeah, he told me he could.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. No, I didn't have any questions. Yeah, I'll have to look at my schedule and see what would work good for me. Because I know we're on different time zones, and I have to. Um, I may be able to do some sessions over the weekend. Just kind of have to see how my schedule works. But I do like the idea of getting back to some of the basics, and I've been doing some Python training on my own, and I've gotten some of the basics down. But I'm like Muhammad, trying to move it to the next level, dealing with automation. At least for what we do, is going to be kind of important because having those that having that tool set, I think, would go a long way. But outside of that, no, I don't have any other questions.
I do have a question for you. It's like, what are you actually looking for? It's like a basic scripting or an advanced module kind of a stuff where there is a specific requirement for you? Ken, you just
So for me, what I want to learn is. Okay, Ken, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Mohammed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, for me, it's like how to utilize these libraries and modules and stuff like that, and like you say, you can connect to any tools you want. How to do that, and of course, scripting to automate things.
Okay, cool. So you're more interested in just automation, right?
Automation and how, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
And
the
then
same thing for
databases,
me. Same thing for me as well. Obviously, I know with the modules that the one good thing I know about Python is with the modules, you can import a module and run an import module, and then you can basically that has a lot of the code already embedded in it, so you can just use that module to do a lot of unique things within Python. So that's one thing I do like, but just to get a better understanding of using like the import function for the modules, and then I know they have a lot of like the radiant int, I think is what it is, and you have some other functionality with the within the libraries. So just getting a good handle on that and kind of putting that all together.
Okay, sure. Okay, we can explore more then, yeah. So just let me know if it is feasible for you to have classes on the weekend. Mohammed, you should not be having any problem about weekend classes, right?
No,
Yeah. Can
I
just
can do it in
confirm.
classes.
So, and you don't have any problem with my accent, right? So it's okay, right? You're
No,
able to understand.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
able
we're
to
able to
understand. It's not
understand
an
you.
issue at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me know if you have any other questions. So otherwise, we can just wind it up.
I don't have
Yeah, so
anything else.
yeah, I don't have anything else. Also, we'll work out. So Ken and I will talk about the scheduling thing,
Yeah,
and
sure.
then yeah, we
But the
can
thing
see
is,
when we will start and everything.
yeah, one recommendation is if we are having a weekend session, it will be like the time will be in our hands. But if we are planning to have a session in our weekdays, it will be a restriction of time. So just think about it and have it. Just list all the trade-offs you have and just let us know about it.
Okay, and then one thing also we haven't mentioned is like what's the hourly rate? What's the hourly rate for this class?
Yeah, that thing the organizer Ravi will decide. We'll discuss with you. I'm just the trainer
Okay,
for this course. Yeah,
okay, no problem. Okay.
yeah. See you guys then. Thanks for attending this chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting up this meeting.
Yeah,
We
thank
look
you. I
forward
appreciate
to
it.
hearing from you guys.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
All right, thank you.
Looking forward to meet you soon. Bye.